The College Basketball Experience Atlantic 10 preview edition on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog is hooking up new customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code TCESGPN. Welcome, everybody, into the College Basketball Experience. Less than 1 week to go. We move along to the Atlantic 10. I think if you're a basketball fan, this is one of your favorite leagues. Rich traditions all over the league. Plenty of teams that have had NCAA tournament success. New coaches everywhere, left and right. Love this league. It's a basketball league. We'll dive in it 1 to 14. There's 14 teams in this league. So doubleheader here tonight. We got the AAC after, actually tripleheader on TCE because we got football on the nightcap. But hey, we're leading it off in the A10. If you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac, former staffer at Austin Peay with the Govs, South Carolina with the Gamecocks, and West Virginia with the Mountaineers. Oh, yeah, baby. And joining me to talk A10 hoops, you guys know him from the great state of Michigan. He is the LeBaron Drive and cocktail napkin having. He is Noah Bienick, a.k.a. Noah B77. What's up, man?
How's it going, boys? I'm excited to talk A10. I think this league's going to have some bite to it this year. A lot of teeth, not just all bark, as we've seen in a couple of years past.
Oh, yeah. And I was going to say, before I introduce the third guy, I'm in the heart in Richmond of the A10 hoops, 2 schools in the area. This guy, he's right up there as well because he's got 2 or 3 schools right there within a 30-mile bubble. But, hey, he is Troy Tuning, a.k.a. the DC Sports Messiah, the weed-growing, green-mowing. What is up, man?
I didn't mow any greens today. I sat at home feeling kind of sick. But, yeah, right here in not the heart of the A10. And, you know, it used to be CAA teams that kind of made the jump to the A10 here. And we see it. The quality of basketball for all these programs seems to have improved in the area. And, yeah, I don't know, Noah. Not a lot of people like teeth when you say it like that. I'll pass. But when it comes to the basketball, this should be a pretty competitive top part of the league.
It's not just all bark. It's got some bite is what I think I was going for there. And I said teeth.
Well, Bienick,
you know where my mind goes.
How did we do last year?
How we did last year, it was okay. I don't think that we knocked it out of the park with the A10 preview and predictions episode. We both had VCU winning the league last season. That did come through. They finished in a tie for first with George Mason. Shout out to Tony Skinn getting the thing done over there with the Patriots. And the winner of the tournament, I had picked Dayton. Mac, you went bold and had St. Bonaventure winning the league tournament. VCU swept the league. So shout out to the Rams for getting that thing done. And we had, we'll talk about coaching in a second, but Ryan Odom uses that to get the Virginia job. So great season all around for Odom and the Rams. For a sleeper, we were looking at the media poll last year, and you were like, "Oh, I got 3 easy sleepers. I got UMass." Well,
they're not even in the league anymore.
Yeah, they finished in the bottom half of the league. You were like, "I got LaSalle." They finished tied for last in the league, but you did say I got St. Bonaventure, who went 9-9. They were picked, I think it was 12th in the league last year, or something like that, and they finished 9-9, which was good for. Tie for 6th, and St. Bonaventure was my sleeper as well. I was kind of ragging them throughout the preview, and you were shitting on me for at the end of the show when we didn't even look at the media poll until the end, and it turned out they were my biggest difference from my rankings to the media rankings. So you're giving me shit for that. For the bust, we both had St. Joe's, so they were picked third in the media poll. Mac had them 7th, I had them 6th, and they finished tied for 5th. So we were closer to the correct prediction of St. Joe's than the media. So, like I said, we did all right. We got the regular season winner. You went 33% on your sleepers. I hit my sleeper, and we both hit our bust. So, pretty good year in the A10 last year.
Yeah, I mean, I should have just went VCU chalk across the board, but I didn't want to do that. But hey, Odom, like you said, out there now. Martelli comes in. The coaching change it with St. Joe's with Donahue taking over, and then D Nice coming over from Radford over here to replace legend Fran Dunphy. Troy, any thoughts on just the
Also,
A10?
Magpayo at Fordham.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. Four new coaches. The St. Joe's one is kind of an asterisk. I mean, that's a weird one to promote within. But Troy, any thoughts on this league coming in? Other than you're going to be high on the A10 as usual.
Yeah, I'm typically high, you know me, but very high on the A10 here. We'll see how LaSalle does adjusting, losing someone that big. Our boy Robbie Avila is still back at St. Louis, so we get another whole year of white man jokes, which Cap and I will be making on every pre-game show as necessary. And we get to see how Tony Skinn does with his first try at a roster turnover. He had a lot of success with some guys that stuck around with him, but big roster turnover here. Going to be interesting. Still feels like the class of the league is VCU, especially if you just look at the name of the schools of people that are transferring into the league, and you see the list of the VCU guys. It seems like a different quality level there, but we'll see how it goes. A lot of good intensive defenses in this league too.
Yeah, VCU's got money and they got resources.
Oh, of course.
All right, let's dive into it. Team number 1 will be Davidson, but first let's shout out everybody. Ourselves, SGPN, the NFL, MLB, NBA, college football, and NHL are live, and we got podcasts giving out free picks all month long, season long, year long for everything. Subscribe to the SGPN feed to catch every episode wherever you get your podcast today. All right, for those watching on youtube.com/the college experience, we head over to the A10, and we start with his coach's son here, headed into year 4 already. Matt McKillop, you see it, 48 and 49. They've kind of just been very consistent, right in the middle, 500 or one game below or one game above each year. In league play, they've struggled, though, 19 and 35 in those games, 3 years. Back-to-back 12th or worse place finishes. Bienick, year 4 feels like a big one for McKillop's son here.
Yeah, it feels like a big one, and there's going to be plenty of youth and experience to go around as they try to sustain a program here. According to Torvik, it's your least experienced preseason roster in the A10. They do bring in a couple of transfers to help that out, though. Josh Scovens comes in from Army, 6'6" junior wing, who played 31 and a half minutes for the Black Knights last year, averaged 15 points, 4 boards, 2 assists. He'll play the 4 for this team this year. He won't be relied on like every possession needing to deliver, but he's a pretty scrappy, good defender as well. You have Sam Brown coming in from Penn, who played 33 minutes a game last season, projected to be your point guard, a 6'3" junior. Averaged 14 points, 3.5 boards, 2.5 assists, shot 34.5% from 3 on 5.5 attempts a game. And then Parker Friedrichsen is brings in some talent, hasn't played a whole lot so far. Last year only got 14.5 minutes a game at Wake Forest. They'll pair him up in the backcourt with Brown, along with the returner and Roberts Blums, who as a freshman last year played 15.5 minutes a game, shot 30.5% from 3. Sean Logan played 19 minutes a game. He's a 6'10" senior big man. He had limited time last season due to injury. Another guy that they're buying low on in the portal is J.Q. Roberts, a big man from Vanderbilt who only played 4.5 minutes a game last year. Also, you got a Spanish big man, a 7-footer Ian Plateau coming in, Hunter Adam, Manny Joseph, and Joe Hurlbert, who all played less than 15 minutes a game, do return for this team as well. I think they're going to go through a little bit of growing pains. It's a pretty inexperienced team at the D1 level, and A10's got some good basketball this year. I do think that the league's up, and this is one of the teams that I think we'll start off with in the basement. So, Troy, how do you feel about Davidson?
Yeah, the few transfers that they got aren't going to be too many guys that I mean, the Army kid will be okay, but outside of that, there's a little bit too much of good basketball at the top half of this league for me to really see like a step up out of this team compared to last year or anything like that. Haven't seen, McKillop mega impress me in his first few years. This one's a cellar dweller for me.
Yeah, I have him at right near the basement as well. You mentioned it, the youth, the roster turnover, and I don't know. When they lost old man McKillop, I feel like they lost a little bit of their identity. Yeah, they're still running the same stuff, but maybe his son just doesn't have the same presence on the sideline, and I feel like the level of athlete too has kind of declined here at Davidson. So I have him in the bottom. I don't think that's a surprise to many, as they pretty much rank at the bottom here in experience. They do bring back a couple pieces, but overall, I'm going to sell Davidson here in year 4.
Yeah, I mean, there's just many more teams that return more than this or have a little bit more talent. And, McKillop's not had a 500 season in the A10 yet. And this is just not the group to be betting on changing that narrative.
Yeah, when there's no sample size of him overachieving, it's hard to just blindly buy into them. So, yeah, they will be at the basement there. Let's get over to an experienced coach who has had a lot of success in this league and just had a lot of success in his career. Anthony Grant headed into now year number 9 at Dayton. He does have – all right, so I always lead this off because there is a crowd out there that thinks Anthony Grant's overrated. It's hard. I can't get on board with that when his best team was 29-2 and they had the best player in college basketball that year, and they probably could have got to they definitely could have got to a Final Four. They might have been able to win the national championship that year in the year that got canceled. So it's a little bit of misleading information with his record and then just his overall resume, because I've seen people say that he's only made one NCAA tournament. That's completely false. He was 29-2 and 18-0. They ran the table in the league that year in 2020. So you look at it outside of 2021, he has finished in the top 3 5 out of the last 6 years, 6 out of the last 7 years, actually. They do have at the top of the league in resources. Dayton is a really good basketball job. Grant has had success at VCU, the other really good basketball job in this league in the mid-2000s. I mean, the floor is high with an Anthony Grant team is my point. So, Noah, what's your outlook on this team in 25-26?
Yeah, and I'll also supplement your point a little bit here too, in saying that this is an excerpt from Basket Under Review. He overachieves expectations. You look at every single season. So the new feature on Kevin Palm that I actually really do like is it takes the preseason ranking, what your expectations for the season could be, and the postseason ranking, and it now has it listed all the way back to 2010 or something like that. Every year that he's been projected to be outside the top 50 nationally at Dayton, he's overachieved expectations and finished inside the top 50. So that gives you something to really stand on and believe in. And yeah, I think he is a very solid coach. Like you mentioned, the COVID year. And Javon Bennett's back to run the point. 5'10" senior, played 31 minutes a game last year, averaged 11.5 points, 2.5 boards, 2 assists, shot 39% from 3 on 5.5 attempts a game. And then they go to the portal to supplement him with Jordan Durkak, from Rutgers. He was good at Merrimack previously. Prior to Rutgers last year, they had a little bit of a circus that they'd never had before at Rutgers with 2 top 5 freshman recruits. Deshane Montgomery comes in from Georgia after playing 15 and a half minutes a game for an NCAA tournament team last year. Keontae Jones comes in from one of the better teams that Cal State Northridge has had in recent memory, and he was a big part of it. Played 31 minutes as a 6'6" forward. Averaged 13 and 9 with 4 assists, 2 steals a game, over a block per game. He's a huge piece. And then you have Amel Latang, Frenchman, 7-footer that comes back after playing 17 minutes a game. It's a really good starting 5, and there's some depth here too. And Jacob Connor, who turns after playing 12 minutes a game last year, he's a 6'10" senior big man. You have Simon, who is a 6'6" redshirt sophomore last year, his first year of basketball. He played 7 minutes with the Flyers. I don't know if you caught this news, but Adam Nije, the Iona transfer, just got caught up in the gambling scandal, so he is no longer active. He's been put on the list for right now. Bryce Hurd's a 6'6" sophomore wing from NC State that is a nice buy low. Same with Malcolm Thomas, who redshirted last year with Villanova in that whole in Neptune experience that Nova had for a couple of years. So Dayton's got a lot of talent once again. There's not a lot of expectations. There are some better rosters that offer a little bit more returning experience or a little bit more returning minutes that you may like more in the A10. But I think Anthony Grant, coming off of a year where maybe there was a little bit of dysfunction, they had a lot of veterans on that group last year that came in from bigger schools, and it just didn't really click in the conference play when they were playing a lot of lesser talented teams. In non-conference, they were ready to go. They did really well in non-con last year.
They're
so
always
I do not see Dayton falling off. I think they're a title contender once again in the league this year. Troy, how about you?
Yeah, I was just about to mention before Clark jumps in and steals my thunder, the DeMatha kid, Malcolm Thomas, that came over from Villanova, is Eton Thomas, Wizards legend son. Yeah, I actually kind of like this roster probably more than most people do. Latang is the French kid. You almost got that one right. Man, yeah, it was pretty good. Getting Bennett back, you know, the Simon kid could probably take a pretty big step forward. And to address what Mac brought up about people hating on Anthony Grant, look at his fucking record. He's coached multiple teams in this league. Look at his record. You can argue all you want. There's a definitive reason you play basketball at the end of the game. It's to have more points than the other team, and then they give you a win. Anthony Grant has a lot of those.
Agreed. A cosign. They'll be in the top 3 for me. That's what they've been under Grant basically every year outside of the bubble year and year 1 at Dayton. And
the fans travel awesome.
Yeah, their fan base is crazy.
Fan base is awesome.
Well, that's what's going against them is their fan base
is kind of getting a little worn out.
They're a little
good enough, but not, dangerous, I guess.
I mean, shit, they won an NCAA tournament game just 2 years ago. They beat Nevada. They came back and beat Alfred in that tournament, and then they were actually competitive, I thought, with Arizona in the round of 32 too. So yeah, they're a little unreasonable. But yeah, I'd sign me up for, you see it, last 3 years, 22 wins, 25 wins, 23, right in that range again.
Yeah, what's going against him is just, he's been there for a while, and he's got 1 tournament appearance in 8 years. They win the regular season, they fall in the tournament.
Two.
You got to give him credit for when he was going to get the 1 seed.
They say 1. So
yeah, see, that's just bad information. They were 29 and fucking 2, and
he's got 1 tournament appearance. They've only the fans have only experienced 1 tournament.
I would almost give him 2 tournament wins as well. Not just an additional appearance. I would give them the fact that they would have made it to at least the second weekend.
They would have smoked a 16 seed, you're saying, Troy?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, if you're 29 and 2, you're locked for the tournament. So
you're 1.
Let's go. Dayton Flyers, top 3, I think, across the board for us. All right, let's go over to these Duquesne Dukes. 13 and 19, year 1. He played for Dan Brott, obviously former high school player and teammate of LeBron. So he's familiar with this area. He was on He was associate head coach on that NCAA tournament team that won a game over BYU. Year 2, do we see a jump here, Noah?
We could. I still kind of have a little bit of doubt about Joyce's coaching chops. Year 1 with Duquesne, 8-10. There could be a step up, but that was like still his first year of head coaching college basketball experience. Here's what I want to hit on just for the league in general. The front courts are really good. Like some of these front courts are solid. And you got Alex Williams, a 6'5" graduate forward coming back who played 27 minutes a game for Furman 2 years ago. He redshirted or just wasn't able to play last season, but he was a monster with Furman. Shot 40% from 3 on 6 attempts a game, 44% from the floor, averaged 13 points, 5 boards. He's on the team for another year. This time he'll be able to play this season. Cam Crawford played 23 minutes a game last year, averaged 8.5 and 2.5, shot 43% from 3 on 3.5 attempts a game. They also have David Dixon playing the 5, a 6'9" senior, played 18.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 5.5 and 5. Jakob Nietzsches is on the bench, a 6'8" junior forward who played 24 minutes a game last year. Maximus Edwards is a 6'5" redshirt senior, played 20 minutes a game last year. Jake D. Michelle, 6'4" junior, played 24.5 minutes. He's back. There's a lot of returning experience with this group. And then you add a Terrence Ginyard who comes in from UT Martin. He's a 6'2" senior guard, averaged 16.5 points per game, 4.5 boards, 2.5 assists, over a steal per game as well. Shot 32.5% from 3 on 5 attempts a game. And Jimmy Williams from South Florida, which, I mean, South Florida had quite the year last year. He only played 18.5 minutes a game, shot 40% from 3 on 2.5 attempts a game. John Hughley, big name from Pitt, now comes in to the little brother of Pitt. He transfers in from Xavier, just looking for a little bit more playing time this season. He's had some injuries that have set him back quite a bit. And then Steph Van Bussel is a Charleston transfer. Brandon Hall comes in from junior college where he lit it up 2 seasons ago. There's just a lot of returning experience. Some real bets in the portal. Like if a Hughley clicks, that's huge. But you're looking at Ginyard and Williams to play big minutes out of the portal from the Skyhawks and Bulls, respectively. They're a middle of the pack team. I think their ceiling might be a little bit limited with Joyce, but no denying that the roster is pretty good this year.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way about Dru Joyce as you do, Noah. I'm not necessarily sure that there's anything yet that I can fully hang my hat on and believe that what he's going to do at any point in time. I do kind of like the gambles, though. I mean, Ginyard should be a baller. I think if Brandon Hall is healthy, I think you have a pretty solidified like isolation scorer. Maybe you can use him off the bench and get some extra points when some of the other guys are getting rest. Yeah, they're going to need Hughley to play well. Don't really know too much about, they've got a Czech, a Denmark kid, a kid from the Netherlands. I haven't seen too much out of them. But yeah, maybe Dru Joyce can figure out the betting stuff from LeBron, and we'll have a Fed alert on this team or something.
This team is older. I mean, they're in the top 3 in returning production and experience. So, bringing over 2 guards in the backcourt, yeah, I could see. I mean, what did Joyce finish like?
Top 3 returning minutes and experience.
Yeah, that's a good combo. I will say too, they were way better in conference play.
Yeah, for sure. They had a top 5 offense and a top 6 defense last year in the A10, and it just amounted to 8 wins. So there's something else there. Like the little things in game that you got to be a good coach and like just manage it. And I think that might have held them back in some close games last year.
Yeah, and they started, I think, like 5-8. I remember they couldn't win a game in December or November. So they started slow, came on, and were kind of a pain in everybody's side in the spoiler role when they got to league play. So we'll see if they can continue that. I'll have them I'm middle of the pack.
So they were 2-6. 2-7. My math was wrong there. 2-7 in 2-possession games in the league last year. I think that's on coaching rather than luck.
Yeah. Also, a top offense in this league last year is probably something that you can count on. They'll be pretty good offensively again this year. But outside of, there's 3-4 really, really good defenses. And then, in that next tier down, it's not, you probably have to make a step defensively in this league if you want to win some of those games too that are 1 or 2 possessions down the stretch.
Next up, well, actually, before we hit the next up team, we are going to talk about our sponsor. That is MyBookie. MyBookie.ag is the place to bet on basketball and everything else. Their prop builder is second to none. So head over there. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head over to MyBookie.ag. Our promo code is TCESGPN for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by NoVig. NoVig is America's #1 sports prediction market, and where you can get the best prices. It's available in 35-plus states. Download the NoVig app and get $50 off when you spend $5 using our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action. NoVig, promo code SGPN. Next up on the dock, we got the Rams of Fordham here. Coach Magpayo coming over from Riverside over the last couple of years. He comes from that Kyle Smith, Todd Golden tree, where they got it going at Columbia, and then he went over to Campbell for a couple of years, then to Riverside over the last 5 years, where he went 89-63 in those 5 years. 3 straight top 5 finishes and 4 out of 5 in the top 3. So, all things considered, did a really nice job last year, winning 21 games. How does it translate over here at Fordham, Noah, where he comes back to the Northeast?
I think there's a good chance that they may have a bunch that can make some noise because it's old, and the Golden and Kyle Smith tree does really well assembling rosters through the transfer portal with that style. There's 8 upperclassmen potentially in this rotation here. I think talent-wise, on paper, it looks like one of your bottom half rosters, and we're going to run through that real quick. But I like Magpayo, and I think it might work out in a longer-term way. So Christian Henry comes in from Eastern Michigan. He's a 6'3" senior guard, averaged 3.5 assists last year, 14.5 points, shot 37% from 3 on 5 attempts a game. DeJour Reeves is also a good shooter, shot 34% on 5 threes a game, averaged 17.5 points, 5.5 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals a game. Zareek Nutter is a Georgia State transfer. He averaged 14, 3, and 2 with the Panthers last year as a 6'7" graduate senior forward. Jack Whitburn comes in from UC Riverside with Magpayo. He's a 6'10" forward. Last year, his freshman year, he played 13 minutes a game. He was pretty good on the glass with them, averaged 4.5 boards in that limited time. He also brings in Rikus Schultz from UC Riverside. We'll see how much he plays, but he's another big man. He's a junior, provides some depth there. There's 2 Hawaii transfers here, and Marcus Green, a graduate senior, played 20.5 minutes a game last year. And Akira Jacobs, 6'9" junior, who played 19 minutes a game, averaged 7 points. Both of these guys can step out and shoot, but especially Jacobs being a big man. That's another element to his game. D2 transfer from Augusta here, Dimitri Gardner, was just a big-time scorer at the Division II level. It's a big step up into the A10, but he did shoot 36.5% from 3 on 4 attempts per game. That might be able to translate. He averaged 23 points per game there. But a team that's old, they have a good defensive backcourt. The front court, we'll see about what happens with the Whitbourne kid who only played 13 minutes a game, and whether he's a good rim defender in the A10, that I think they'll have to learn on the fly. To me, it's a bottom half team, and I can't wait to see the Magpayo era begin. Troy, what do you think about Fordham?
We've kind of noticed this throughout all of college basketball recently, but it's only 3 guys that he brings over from UC Riverside, but there's a chance that there's some wrong numbers early in the year and Fordham gets to cover because 3 guys already understand what Magpayo wants to do and can kind of help the other players and figure out the system for everybody else. The Dimitri Gardner name is funny that you bring it up. I'm pretty sure he was a 4A Virginia Player of the Year here in like the Winchester area, but that was 4 years ago. So if he could score like that, I don't know. This league, you've got a bunch of tough defenses, but this feels like a team that is slotted for the basement, but has a chance of making that step to the mid-tier. I actually think that they might be a little bit of a surprise this year.
They could be because I think Magpayo's a pretty damn good coach. And to mention, they got guys coming over from Riverside as well, guys from Hawaii as well, so guys that have played together in different systems, but there is some continuity. And I thought his teams for the most part overachieved at Riverside. And last year they were really efficient offensively. His 2 best years, they were really good offensively. So we'll see if they can duplicate that success here in the A10. All right, next up on the dock, we got Tony Skinn. Oh, what a job he did last year. Magical year, breakthrough year there in year 2 back at his alma mater. 47-21, 24-12. They win the regular season or they share it. Then they lose in the conference championship game in a thriller to VCU. They go to the NIT. This guy's George Mason through and through, man. He was a starting point guard for Larrañaga the Final Four year. He knows how to win in Fairfax.
Yeah, and he's had 2 top 90 defenses nationally. Yeah. In the A10, he's had 2 top half defensive finishes in his first 2 seasons as a head coach. Both times, I think, drastically over achieving expectations. So this is a guy that I have a lot of respect for and has outperformed my preseason predictions so far. There's a couple of guys here that come in and have some scoring ability. So immediately I'm like, okay, this team will be able to put the ball in the basket and really good defensive foundation under Skinn. So it's a team that I think I'm going to like. Braden O'Connor is a 6'4" senior guard that returns from last season. He played 28 minutes a game, averaged 9 points, 3 boards, 3 assists, shot 37.5% from 3 on 2.5 attempts a game. But I think the starting point guard is going to be Corey Mincy, a Presbyterian transfer who averaged 4.5 assists a season ago in 32 minutes a game, averaged 15 points, shot 37% from 3 on 5 attempts a game. You also got a couple other double-digit scorers per game in Masai Troutman from Northeastern, Dola Adebayo, a graduate senior, 6'8", from Mount St. Mary's. You have a guy from Ball State in Jamari Hill, who's a 6'5" senior guard. All of those guys, 13 points per game or more from a season ago. Adebayo was huge for Mount St. Mary's in the NCAA tournament last season. Monster on the glass and turned into their go-to guy because they had so many injuries. Troutman from Northeastern shot 39.5% from 3. You have, what else did I want to hit here? Ellington comes in from Murray State. He averaged 10 and 5.5, shot 56% from the floor. It's another old team. The A10 is going to be really good because they have a lot of teams that have either a lot of experience, a lot of returning minutes, or a little bit of mix of both. It's a group that has 9 upperclassmen once again in the rotation. That's something you gotta love at the mid-major basketball level. Troy, what do you think about George Mason?
Well, I love Tony Skinn. He's my boy. One of the old basketball camp counselors from the day here in the Fairfax area.
Oh yeah.
Like Max said, he knows how to win in Fairfax. Scoring on and off the court, I would assume very easily. they're going to need Braden O'Connor to step up a little bit. I mean, how he played last year, you got to like his chances to maybe make that step and be more of the centerpiece. But you've got to like what you used his real first name, Jamari Hill. It's Fat Hill. You got to call him by his the name that he likes to go by, Fat Hill, 2 T's. Some of their guards have pretty good size, which I'm sure Tony Skinn likes because he concentrates on the defensive side of the ball a little bit more. But their transfers being able to score the basketball might, I don't know if they'll, have the record that they did last year specifically within the conference, but they might be a little more well-rounded for that tournament. I mean, everybody's got to be thinking you've got to find a way to beat VCU, and you might need to step up a little bit on the scoring side if you want to keep up with those guys. I don't know if I'm quite as high on them as I was last year. That was a little bit of a destiny team. You keep a bunch of guys, even though you change coaches and have a early on in a career with Tony Skinn, guys standing by him, and they have a great season. I think they might be more towards the top of the middle part of the tier here this year. But we'll see how they gel and how they come together, and if O'Connor can make that next step.
I haven't taken a step back, but not like into the middle. I kind of see that 4 or 5 range. They'll have an identity. They're gonna guard you because that's what Tony Skinn was at George Mason, and they are super old. And I think on the outside looking in, man, they got some good depth on this team too. They're gonna go.
His kids on the roster too. Isaiah Skinn from Edison.
Oh yeah, he's down.
High school.
Oh, yeah, he is down there. Yeah,
I was gonna say, wow, I can't believe Tony Skinn kept one of the local guys at George Mason, and then I saw the kid's last name. I wonder why.
Now we feel old. So
yeah, for real.
I like Mason. And split the difference between the year 1 and year 2 for me. 22-23 wins. Another solid year. And if he wins 20 plus for a third straight year, there may be another job for him. Because he's done way better than Kim English did in his 2 years at George Mason. Next up, let's go to DC from Fairfax. Chris Caputo here, friend of the program. We got a couple guys in this league that were on the channel last year on the coaches cycle. Year 4, they've been a little bit of a boomerang program. Year 1 was a nice year in A10 play, at least 10-8. Then they had a bunch of injuries in year 2. They bounced out of 4-14. Last year, a nice bounce back to a 500 year in league play, 21 wins overall. This team's got a lot of expectations here, Noah, with all the experience.
Yeah, last year they were a 500 team, but they had a top 3 defense, and they returned 4 guys that played 24-plus minutes a season ago. None more important, maybe even in the entire conference, than a Rafael Castro, 6'11" redshirt senior center who played 29.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 14 and 9 with 2 assists, over a steal, over a block per game, shot 66% from the floor. The offense, everything is just going to run through him. He's a good rim protector as well in this league. One of the better ones you're going to find in the A10 this season. The big question mark for George Washington this year is they lose Darren Buchanan, their point guard, who averaged 6 assists last year. And necessarily, besides Buchanan and Drumgoole, who also is gone, they lacked a little bit of pop on offense. They bring in a couple of point guards to address that situation. Trey Dinkins from Duquesne played in this conference last year. He averaged 3 assists, 13 points per game, shot 38% from 3 on 6.5 attempts. And then Jean Aron Gurin, or Gene, one of the two, from Hofstra. He played 32.5 minutes a game, averaged 14, 5.5 with 4 assists, shot 34% from 3 on 4.5 attempts a game. Those are your 2 candidates to be step in and replace Buchanan, because you got Christian Jones, who his freshman year, he played 24 minutes a game, averaged 1.5 steals. Trey Autry comes back after playing 26 minutes a game. He shot 38.5% from 3 on 5 attempts. And Garrett Johnson's also back, a 6'8" redshirt junior forward who played 29 minutes a game, averaged 13.5 and 5.5. They're all, that core is really good and one of the best that you're going to find in the A10. They also have Trey Moss and Ty Bevins. coming back from last year's bench to maybe move into the rotation. They'll be competing with the Tarleton transfer Boo Boo Benjamin, who played 36 minutes a game for the Texans last year, shot 38% from 3-on-4 attempts a game, and Tyrone Marshall, coming in from Western Kentucky as a 6'7" graduate wing, played 28.5 minutes a game, averaged 10.5 and 6.5. It's a really good roster, and I think they have the ingredients for Caputo's best record in A10. It's not a super high bar. I believe he's only had one season above 500. I don't know if it's a title contender yet, but I definitely think that they're going to be in the mix against some of the top 5, top 6 teams. His best season at G-Dub was just 10-8. So it's a big step up from a 500 team that was not that great offensively, but you bring back 4 guys that played 20 minutes a game on the top 3 defense in the conference last year. The floor is high for sure.
Floor is certainly high here. The experience on the roster is awesome. I feel like they were trending towards having a pretty good conference record last year, and they lost those 2. One of them was a double overtime game, but they lost games to George Mason that were like the lowest scoring defensive battles that we've seen in a while. And it feels like that kind of broke the heart of George Washington earlier in the year. I'm never going to get used to calling them the Revolutionaries. That's crazy. But I expect this team to take the step up into the top tier here in this league.
Yeah, Caputo, I like Caputo's track record too. Caputo was on staff when Tony Skinn played at Mason. He's a Jim Larinaga guy. So him and ironically the next episode, Conkle. I remember, Troy, when we were growing up, that Caputo was one of the counselors running camp, and so was Eric Conkle at Tulsa, and then Tony Skinn was one of the coaches with those Mason guys. So yeah, he comes from a good tree. He spent almost 2 decades with Larinaga, who's going to be future Hall of Famer. I think that this, but like you said, is by far his best team. I think that they're going to crack into the top 4 here in year number 4 and DC for Caputo. All right,
I was going to say, you can tell how great these guys did at their basketball camp. Now Mac and I are sitting here talking about them on YouTube.
I know. Hilarious. When I had him on last year, we were talking about the good old days in at the field house for camp. So yeah, the
real issue with my game was going from being an oversized guard to an undersized guard over 3 years of not getting any taller was really the hit.
Yeah, that's a problem in basketball. It's not a problem is Underdog Fantasy, baby. Get on over there. You're home for pick'em entries where you can win up to 5,000 times your entry. Underdog's got a brand new offer. New customers play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with the promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is crushing it in college football, NFL, and in the NBA. Rhythm is also giving away weekly cash prizes for tracking your bets in the app. 5 bets on the same type of model, and you can build up to $1,000. Use our promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. Download Rhythm and use our promo code SGPN25. All righty, we continue on our journey. Hey, my team, man, LaSalle. I was sad when Fran Dunphy retired because obviously I've been Colby and I were outspoken fans of Fran Dunphy. But when I got called that this guy might be headed up to Philly, I was like, all right, sorry, Dunphy, your time has come. So D Nice, former guard for the Mountaineers, headed up to Philly, coming off a nice 20-win season last year where he finished 4th in the Big South. 3 out of his 4 years at Radford, where they went 68 and 63. They finished in the top 3 in league play. So coming in here with some nice momentum, brings over his whole staff. It is a completely new roster, but it needed to be a new roster because, let's be honest, we love Dunphy. LaSalle was out awful the last couple of years at the end of his career. So it's going to be – I'm going to say this. I think that they are going to struggle at times in A10 play in year number 1 just because D-Nice will try and get his culture in place. But I think they're going to be chippy as hell in February. And I think they're going to be a pain in the ass coming out of the bottom half here in year number 1.
Yeah, I think they might take it on the chin in year one for sure, especially after they got the news that Marcus Randolph was not uh, granted eligibility for this season. I think that a lot in that bucket. There are 9 upperclassmen again on this roster. So
Yeah, they're old.
Another good positive on a team that's probably close to the bottom of the standings in the A10. So another sign that it's going to be a very strong league this year. He does bring in Truth Harris and Josiah Harris from Radford with him to LaSalle. So a couple of guys in that locker room that have been with this coaching staff. Jaden Johnson from Old Dominion last year, he played 34 minutes a game, averaged 3.5 assists. They're going to be looking to him to operate the offense alongside Jaden Marshall, who comes in from Niagara, shooting 36.5% from 3 on 4 attempts a game. He's a graduate senior. Jerome Brewer is a name that I recognize from the McNeese State portal hall. But he didn't play last year, and he was from Commerce in that Southland Conference with McNeese. But he's a 6'9" physical defender and gives you a little bit of some offensive talent in the front court to go along with it. Edwin Daniel, who I think just might be a monster down low. At Connor State and JUCO, he averaged 12.5 points per game, 12.5 boards, and 4 blocks. So I think the defense, at least around the rim, should be all right with Daniel there. And then Eric Acker returns after playing 15.5 minutes a game for the Explorers. Noah Collier comes in from William and Mary. He's a 6'8" graduate senior. You've got a UT Martin transfer in Josue Grullon, played 19.5 minutes a game, shot 36% from 3 on 6 attempts. Also, Justin Archer, 6'7" grad. Rob Dockery, 6'7", redshirt sophomore. They both come in from Georgia State and Texas A&M, respectively. Archer began his career at Redford, so that's a good note on the roster sheet from Jim Root. Also, Bowen Beatty, a Sacramento State transfer, is a 7-footer for LaSalle this season as well. There are some scenarios where this thing, I think, could go well for LaSalle, and I think they've got a good group over there. Obviously, you are a big fan of the Nichols family, and I think that staff is heading in the right directions with LaSalle, but it might take some time with how good the league is this year.
Yeah, this will be very interesting because a part of me really likes the idea of the big physical roster and like a bunch of old strong guys as your way to counter the rest of the league's bunch of old strong guys. We'll see how the coaching with D Nice kind of brings this team together, but I don't know if I'm willing to say that I have them going to the mid-tier this year, but it wouldn't be surprising, like Max said, if there were a couple of chippy they knock a few teams off or they take somebody to overtime and someone sneaks away and not expecting too much out of LaSalle. Later in the year, maybe we'll get some good numbers on them and watch them, muck it up and hang around a little bit. But I can say they're definitely moving in the right direction.
Them and Fordham kind of feel similar in terms of, it's a ton of roster turnover, and they Darris and Magpayo took over the 2 worst teams in the league last year. But with the way that the portal is set up and they can get super old right away and get guys that have played multiple years of college basketball, you can flip it and turn yourself into a mid-tier league team. So, I'm going to be biased for LaSalle this year, but I don't think that they're in the basement. Like, I see everybody have them 14th out of 14th. I don't see that happening. I think that they're going to be chippy and pick off some teams in February.
His brother's on the staff too, right?
Yeah, Shane.
He played at Wofford, right? Back in the day?
Yeah. They both are from Radford. And Shane was the one that recruited John Moran at Murray. So Shane's been around. He recruited that goddamn Morant guy that cost me a couple OVC titles that I'm still bitter about. So let's go Explorers. Let's go over to Chicago. Let's talk Loyola, Chicago here. Drew Valentine. This is going to be tragic magic all year with Sister Jean passing away. Hey, dude, Valentine's done a good job the last couple of years. A couple of years ago, I was like, I don't know if he's going to make it here coming off 10 and 21, but nice bounce back years, 23 wins, 25 wins. They didn't get to the NCAA tournament last year,
No,
right?
No,
They
One did. They didn't even get Mason in.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I totally forgot that the A10 was only in one bid league last year, but 13-5, 25-8. Yeah, so he's had one NCAA tournament appearance that was in the Valley, 21-22. So he's had one bad year, 3 out of 4. They better
in the Valley with Moser's guys from the previous NCAA tournament team.
True, but I will say he's validated himself for me as a coach the last 2 years. So 1,000%. What do you think here? Year 5?
Yeah, I mean, he comes from a good coaching tree. Not only Moser, but also Tom Izzo. He's had year 1 in the A10. So they went to the NCAA tournament in 22. Then they entered the A10, and it was, oh boy, we'll see what they got. And they took it on the chin big time. They go 4-14, but they're 27-9 since, with 2 top 100 defenses nationally in the Atlantic 10. And I think that this group, so it's the best center point guard duo in the conference, I think. And Justin Moore, last year his season was cut short due to a knee injury, but he was a monster. He also played at Drexel, and Miles Rubin, who's really broke out last year, averaged almost 10 points and 5.5 boards a game, shot 71.5% from the floor. And then you also have Kamani Huansu. No way I drilled that, but he's a 6'7" senior forward who played 21.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 6 and 4.5, 53% from the floor. How they supplemented this roster, though, you needed a few wings, and they went out and got a couple. Daywilk Tavares from College of Charleston played 27.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 13 points, 3.5 boards, 2.5 assists, shot 41.5% from 3 on 6 attempts a game. And then they're buying low on a couple of guys. Dominic Harris is a guy that only played 7.5 minutes at UCLA, but he's a graduate senior. Then you've got 2 seniors and Joshua Ola Joseph coming in from Cal. He previously played at Minnesota as well. And then Xavier Amos from Wisconsin. Both of them wings, have shooting ability. And then Katie Dotson comes in from New Mexico. He didn't play much his freshman year either. But I think that Justin Moore, Miles Rubin, and a really good defense, because there's plenty of experience and length in this group as well, that Valentine will be able to mold a really good defense that's their foundation with the Ramblers at Loyola Chicago. I think this is going to be a really good group and a title contender in the A10. I mean, Moore was so dynamic. I'm at least banking on him coming back and being 100% come conference play. And yeah, I think they could make some noise late in the year.
Oh yeah, 100%. They might even be able to make some noise in the beginning of the year. The transfer class is pretty good.
It's a good team.
Absolutely. The Amos kid from Wisconsin really gives them a good wing dynamic that's not just a big guard or something like that. He can still get down low and bang a little bit. We are kind of counting on Justin Moore to be back to what he was, but I wouldn't be surprised if he returned just fine. And yeah, this is kind of a bowling ball of a program, and it's going to be tragic magic all year. Yeah, you're going to see shots that bounce 3 or 4 times on the rim that somehow fall in. It's going to be crazy.
Sister Jean Kiss from this guys. Yeah. Valentine, I think they've formed an identity in this program over the last couple of years. It took them a year to transition into the A10, but ever since then, these last 2 years, I like what I've seen. 48 wins in 2 years. So I'll bank on them being in the top 5.
Would he technically be Saint Valentine if they inducted him into the Catholic Church?
Potentially. This guy's not Saint Valentine. This is one of those slick Millers over here up there in Rhode Island. Not pretty good year last year. They I think you're a little disappointed it didn't end in a 20-win season because they started undefeated and they still finished 10th in the league, though. Archie now headed into year number 4. They've slowly kind of been building this thing, 9 to 12 to 18. They've scheduled well in terms of scheduling cupcakes so that they can pad their win total.
They beat Providence last year, though.
That says enough about Providence. But yeah, what's your take on these Rams, man? This kind of feels like a big year to keep this program in that 18-plus win range rather than dropping back to where they were the last couple years.
Yeah, it's been quite the disappointment, I think. You could say if you're Archie Miller, though, 5 wins year 1, 6 wins year 2, 7 wins year 3.
Yep.
That there's been a step of progress in every season, winning more games overall each and every year. But you would like to see a little bit more continuity in a roster, and they just don't have that this season. Just everybody basically hit the portal last year that started games for them. So it's a brand new team. And just with the way that the game has been going, and Archie hasn't had like a good finish in the A10 yet, it's tough to bet on URI right now. Miles Corey comes in from South Alabama, and I think he's going to be able to run the offense here. He played 31 minutes a game for the Jaguars last year. He's a graduate senior, averaged 14 points, 4.5 assists a game. He's a good defensive piece. And he'll be surrounded by Jonah Hinton, who played in this conference last season for St. Bonaventure, played 28 minutes a game. He's a redshirt junior, shot 33% on 5.5 threes a game. Tyler Cochran is a guy that has kind of bounced over a couple of places, whether it be Minnesota, but he was a stud at Toledo, really good shooter. I think he was at Oregon State for a minute as well. Kean Etier is a Northern Kentucky big man. He's a 6'9" graduate senior, played 27 minutes a game with the Norse last season, shot 59% from the floor, averaged 7.5 and 5.5. Jameer Tripp from Fordham played 20.5 minutes a game in this conference last year as a 6'6" wing. RJ Johnson comes in from Charleston Southern. He averaged 4.5 assists last year, shot 33% from 3 on 4 attempts. He played 35 minutes a game for the Bucks. Mo Sau from St. Peter's comes in from the Peacocks, averaged 9 and 6.5 as a 6'9" redshirt senior for this upcoming year. He's a redshirt senior. And then Alex Crawford from Fresno State played 32.5 minutes a game last season for the Bulldogs, and he's a 6'8" redshirt senior. There's, again, with the A10 rosters, plenty of experience to go around here, up to 9 upperclassmen in the rotation possibly for this season. And then one returner in Drisa Traore, who might get some burn this season. Last year, he just played 12.5 minutes a game. But to me, this is just a bottom half program right now in the A10. And I think I'm going to be a little bit more bullish on some other teams that are perceived basement teams. And this one, we've seen a little bit of a track record from Archie at URI. And now he's got another clean slate that I'm just going to play a wait and see approach again. Troy, how about you?
Yeah, there's not too much about this one that stands out to me as, I've got to back them early or I see them coming together late. I kind of see them as a bit of an overrated program or maybe a correctly rated program. I don't know if I really enjoy too much of Archie Miller. I think I'm kind of with you, Noah. I don't have this team in my top tier, believe it or not. So I think they're kind of even more close to the bottom of that middle ranking. Not that high on Rhode Island this year. I don't want to, shit on them too hard, but
this is 6 straight losing seasons in league play for Archie, going back to his Indiana days. Now you can make the argument that he was going to get in the COVID year, maybe at 9 and 11, but still, that was his best year. I'm with you, man. Archie was once a hot commodity in the coaching ranks, but he's kind of taken a step back here. Struggled adapting a little bit in the portal era. 18 wins was nice last year, but I mean, there is not a lot of continuity in this program to think that they're going to be able to duplicate it. So I'm with you. I have them in the bottom half of the league here. Not absolute basement, but towards there. All right, the Spiders, man. Once upon a time, there were some idiots that put out a billboard right down the street from me to fire Chris Mooney. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life, because every time they want to fire Mooney, Mooney pops up and has a hell of a year. Last year, they run their program the old school way. They do their best to develop players. They have a system. They run the Princeton stuff. Defensively, they switch a bunch of stuff. Yeah, so last year was a down year. He'd spent every other year with them, 24 wins, and they beat Iowa in the NCAA tournament the year before that in 22. Then they came back down last year, or 2 years ago. Nice year where they were older. They won the regular season last year, coming back to the pack. Won multiple games in the tournament here. I don't know, Bienick, are we going to get a boomerang back to the top half here?
Yeah, I think we do. And Mooney's program runs on continuity. Like, we talk about a lot with these mid majors, that with coaches that have been around the block, and according to Torvik, most returning minutes by percentage from last season, and also one of the most experienced teams in the league. It starts with McIntyre, who is projected to run the point this year. He played 31.5 minutes a game last season as a 5'10" junior guard. And then Mike Walls is a returning center. He played 22 minutes a game last season, averaged 7.5 and 6, with 2.5 assists out of the post as well. He can step out and shoot it for you too. You have Apostolos Rumoglu. I think I might have drilled that. Apostolos
Sounded good to me.
A 6'8" senior forward who played 26.5 minutes a game last year as well, averaging 5 and 5. Colin Tanner played 17 minutes a game, and Jonathan Beagle, a 6'10" senior forward, played 15.5 minutes a game for Richmond last season. They're all back, and they go out and get 4 upperclassmen from the transfer portal to just kind of handpick and place into this roster around Tyne and Walls. Will Johnston, a guy from Loyola Marymount, a graduate senior, played 29 minutes a game for LMU, averaged 12 points, shot 36.5% from 3 on 6 attempts in the WCC last year. Very good league. And then AJ Lopez, he lit it up in the America East with Maine, shot 40.5% from 3 on 4 attempts a game, averaged 15 points, 2.5 boards, shot 48% from the floor in 31 minutes with the Black Bears, the cocaine Black Bears. And then Jaden Daughtry, he didn't get a ton of burn with Indiana State, but when he was on the floor, he took the most out of his opportunities, put up 13 points per game, 4.5 boards, and just 19.5 minutes. He's a 6'7" junior forward who is projected to be one of the main contributors for this year's team. And then David Thomas comes in from DePaul. He played 15 minutes a game a season ago. But Richmond, I think they are on the seesaw back up with Mooney, with continuity, with experience. Two things that they've got plenty of compared to the rest of the conference. They might struggle at point guard if Tyne's not able to make that transition. We'll see what happens with the Spiders. I've got them in the middle of the pack this year. I don't know if it's going to be all the way back to the top of the standings for Mooney and Richmond, but I think a better year is definitely on the way. How about you, Troy?
Yeah, I see the boomerang strategy here, and it kind of seems to play into the programs that like to develop their guys. You see the years that it costs a little bit when you're not just dropping dollars to keep good dudes coming in. But I kind of have them firmly in the middle, which for me, I would consider that a boomerang back up to, right around, if it's not the top half, it's just outside of it. But I think that they're going to be, I feel like even if Tyne can't fill the role, the freshman that they brought in from Gonzaga right here in DC, Will Harper is okay. He's a little bit big, but I think he could probably play point too. I don't know if getting the blessing of Caleb Williams is a good or a bad thing right now, but we'll see how that goes. I've got a bounce back for the Spiders.
Yeah, I do too. And I thought they played better down the stretch too. I think that they were super young last year. Took Mooney a minute. He's got 400 wins for a reason. Anytime I see Richmond leading the league in returning production, I'm going to be in on them. I have them in the top half once again under Mooney. Another really good program here. We got the Bonnies. Mark Schmidt headed. How long is Schmidt has been with the Bonnies all the way back to 2007. So we're almost approaching. I think it's year 19 now with Schmidt. Northeast guy, and he's just fit perfectly into that culture. He was good at Bob Morris before taking the Bonnies job in 2007. He's been to three NCAA tournaments, but the main thing with Schmidt is they don't have losing seasons with the Bonnies. I mean, that 500 year in 23 was the only year that they did not finish over 500 since 2013. So it's a hard job up there. They've always had an identity. They're tough. They try and get super old. I'll always be on the Bonnies with a high floor by default. But is this one of their better teams, Bienick?
This is the first year with Woj as their full-time GM.
I forgot
as
about
well
Woj,
with the roster management and everything like that. I don't know if there's truly a big difference though with this year's roster compared to others. Yeah, I mean Schmidt kind of hovers around 500. When there's expectations, he doesn't quite like get to being a title contender, but when there's no expectations, he's going to get the most out of the group. I've been on the lower side of some groups that have lacked talent these past 2 years for sure, and he's been able to get them to right about 500. And I'm expecting more of the same for this group here. They've only got one returner, that's Desante Bowen, but if you're going to return one guy, it might as well be your point guard. And he averaged 4 assists last year, 4 boards, 11 points. And there's an attempt at least this season of having some wings that can shoot, because I think last year that was a big hindrance for St. Bonaventure, was they just could not knock down outside shots. Daryl Simmons comes in from Gardner Webb. He's a 5'11 junior. We'll see how that plays in the A10. A talented league that as a wing, mainly as a shooter, we'll see if he's able to get him up. But shot 39% from 3 on 7 attempts a game with the Running Bulldogs last year, averaged 17.5 points, 2 assists, 3 boards. Amari Marshall comes in from Albany, shot 35% from 3 on 4.5 attempts a game, averaged 14 points for the Great Danes with 2.5 assists. And then Daniil Agboniwe from Tennessee Tech. He took 4 threes a game last year at a 31% clip. He's a 6'7 senior wing as well. And then in the front court, also 2 transfers coming in. Joe Grahovic comes in from Fullerton College, a junior college, where he averaged 2.5 blocks a game, 16 points, 6.5 boards, and 2 assists. Really did it all at the junior college level. We'll see kind of how much of an impact he has on the offensive side of the floor. But on defense, I think he's going to be pretty sturdy. And you got Frank Mitchell coming in from Minnesota who can shoot it for you as well, a 6'8 senior forward. And he also provides good enough defense in the front court for you, and averaged 5 and 5 in just 15.5 minutes for the Golden Gophers last year in the Big Ten. Braden Jackson is a 6'8 sophomore, comes in from Buffalo. He only had 9 minutes a game of play last season in the MAC. Caden Charles is another D2 transfer from North Georgia. He shot 37% from 3 last season, averaged 14.5 points, 7 boards. It's an interesting group for the Bonnies this season. I think they're going to be better offensively. I think that Schmidt should be able to coach these guys up for. I think they're going to be better than 500. I think 12 wins is where I have them ballparked for right now. That's how I feel about the Bonnies. Troy, more of the same, or do you disagree?
I kind of have more of the same. I'm not mega high on this group. We know they will be chippy within the league. The how do you pronounce his name? I got to read it to even have a chance to pronounce the Egbenui. I expect him to, I don't know, maybe carry them to a couple of unsuspecting wins, but I'm not mega high on this Bonnies team. I think, solid middle of the pack. They're not in the basement or the cellar or anything like that, but you see what you get from Schmidt, and it, kind of repeats itself.
Yeah, I mean, what 4 new starters here, but bringing back Bowen, like having the continuity at the point guard position. Little worried it's a little TMZ with Woj now, but they always have an identity, man. They're chippy at home. Schmidt will get them to guard.
Woj was there last year. This year, like truly, I think his pause could have been on the roster assembly.
I know,
but he didn't do
worried.
it last year.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little worried. But I think he'll stay out of the way.
I mean, performance-wise, he was there. But yeah, sure. The GM part, maybe you can be a little bit worried about.
Yeah, but I think Schmidt, he'll still find a way to grind games out. I mean, what was their last losing season in A10 play? 2014. So the floor is 500. I think they'll be around there once again. Maybe a 10-8 type of year. Just because Schmidt always gets the most out of his group usually.
2023. 8-10.
I have them 10-8.
8-10 and A10 in 2023. Because I was in Pittsburgh for that year, and that year was one of the years where they were built up to be a monster.
Yeah, when he has high expectations, he finishes with the same. He finishes with the same record when he has high expectations as no expectations. So 20 wins, 500 in league play. All right, coaching change here. Donahue takes over after Lang goes over to the Knicks, middle of September. I'm interested to see how this fits because Donahue always ran his Princeton stuff at Cornell, at Penn. Now he's taking over a St. Joe's team. Not a lot of time to have his fingerprints on this. This doesn't feel like a good situation here, Noah.
No, it does not. And Donahue did not have a great finish to his tenure at Penn. His final 2 seasons in the Ivy League went 7-21. So I do not think that Donahue's headed in the right direction career-wise either. But he gets another chance as this job just kind of fell in his lap Lang just got up and left for an assistant coaching job in the NBA or something. Like not even the assistant head coach or assistant coach. It was like an analyst job or something like that. It was weird. Wow. He just bounced. Derek Simpson's back. He's a 6'3" senior guard. Averaged 8.5 points, 4 boards, 3.5 assists last season. Shot 31% from 3 on 4 attempts a game. They also bring back a couple other role players, and Anthony Finkley, who played 24.5 minutes a game last year. Did a little bit of everything for him as a 6'7" junior guard. And then Justice Jogbor, 6'10" graduate forward, played 21 minutes a game, averaged 4.5 and 4.5 for the Hawks last season. And then Deshar Haskins, a 6'8" redshirt sophomore wing, played 18.5 minutes a game last season for the Hawks, along with Steven Solano, a 7-footer, played 7.5 minutes a game his freshman season, and Mekhi Johnson, who played 5.5 minutes a game his freshman year. They bring in Jaden Glover Toscano from St. John's. He was not one of Pitino's favorites, only got 6.5 minutes a game for the Johnnies. He transfers into St. Joe's now. Deuce Jones II comes in from LaSalle after averaging 12.5, 4, and 3 with the Explorers last season. Jane Smith comes in from Fordham, only playing 7.5 minutes a game his freshman year. And Al Amadou redshirted at Marquette last year. So that's your team with St. Joe's. And I don't think it's a very strong group. And also I think that there's some distractions that we don't quite know yet in the St. Joe's program. And I don't think that Donahue has had some of his best years recently. So I've got St. Joe's near the bottom of the standings in the A10.
Yeah, I kind of have them in the middle of the pack as I look at my list right now, but I definitely don't see this roster as like a chance for their ceiling to be higher than what we think it is and then like compete for the 5th or 6th spot in the conference. How long is Donahue going to be around?
This is it.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah. Interim. Yeah. He'll probably be done after this year.
I don't know if the performance of the team will be like a magical last year send off for Donahue. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the identity of this program is this year. They're towards the basement for me. I don't like the fit here with just the way that Lang's teams played versus how Donahue's teams played, and he didn't get to recruit his team. Schertz, St. Louis, year 2, obviously was really, really damn good at Indiana State, and he also was good at Lincoln Memorial before that. So they were a trendy pick last year to just pick up and come right into the A10 and win it. But 19-15, 11-7, they do finish 5th in the league. Do they compete this year for the league title, Noah?
I think they do.
Yeah.
Last year I was a little cute with SLU as well. They had some injuries though. And they do return Robbie Avila that Troy mentioned at the top of the show. Literally a monster and stuff in the stat sheet in every which way. Defensively could be a little bit of a turnstile, but that's with St. Louis and their philosophy and their the program that Schertz runs. Hey, it's up and down, baby. They're going to run, and the offense is going to be good. Trey Green gets another shot here. He's going to be able to have the reins to run the show. He comes in from Xavier, only played 11 minutes a game last year in his first year of college basketball. But there's a lot of belief that he's going to be able to suffice for the Billies this season. But the Billikens also spend some money elsewhere on this portal class. You have Brady Dunlap coming in from St. John's. He played 16 and a half minutes a game as a redshirt freshman last season. He's a 6'7" wing who shot 37.5% from 3-on-3 attempts a game. You got a Virginia transfer in Ashan Sharma, Dion Brown coming in from Boston College, and then some other pieces that are taking a jump up in competition in a Quentin Jones who put up 16.5 points, 5 boards, 3.5 assists a game at Northern Illinois last year. He also provides a little bit of defense too, a block a game over a steal per game as a 6'5" junior wing. He shot 35.5% from 3-on-5 attempts a game. And then you get a Quinnipiac transfer from 6'8" senior Paul Otieno, or Otieno. He put up 13 and 8.5 in the MAC with over 2 blocks a game. He's going to play the 4 this season, be able to shoot it a little bit more. There's a lot of spacing in this offensive system and philosophy for Schertz, and it really opens the lane for a guy like Trey Green who's going to be able to drive, or Quentin Jones, and they're going to be able to do a lot of things with this group that I think fits pretty well together. There's quite a few seniors in this group as well that are going to be playing plenty of time. I think St. Louis is definitely a contender. To me personally, I think I like 1 or 2 teams better in the A10 this season, but it's a really good league, and I think they're suited to be one of the top teams in it.
Yeah, if you don't know really how to judge a roster and you're just kind of scrolling through everything, you've got to notice there's 7 guys on the St. Louis roster where you can access their Cash App and send them money directly, which that's got to be a good sign. There's a couple other teams in this league that have some of those guys, but Robbie Avila really does everything. And, he started off the year, he was banged up. You could kind of see their team doesn't really have an identity without their main Kareem Abdul-Jabbar turnstile. But I like Otieno coming over from Quinnipiac. I think maybe he can step up. Dion Brown got to play UMBC basketball and then BC, and I think he kind of fits in this league pretty well. The Sharma kid, little undersized forward, but, with the way that they like to play, I'm sure that they actually enjoy that. But, yeah, this is just a watch the white man show with Robbie Avila. It's very entertaining basketball to watch, that's for sure. And I like Schertz. I've definitely got them in the high tier. I don't know if I've got them at 1, but like you said, I see them in that top 3 for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna like this team. It feels year after the year type stuff. 4 new starters to surround Avila, but I think that this is a veteran group, guys that have come from winning programs. like St. John's and Quinnipiac. I like this group to have an identity and really be able to score the ball. So, yeah, they'll be in the top 3 for me.
Yeah, I mean, 4 new starters, and they're telling Kalu Anya, who started 30-plus games for him last season, provided pretty good defense to, kind of split time with some newcomers. So I think it's a very talented team. And last year, it didn't go quite as smoothly as maybe they thought it was going to go to begin the season. But his final year at Indiana State, it was a top 15 offense. The offense hummed. It was top 70 in tempo in all 3 seasons there. I think we're going to get back to that at St. Louis, and it'll be a very good year for the Billikens.
Final team in the A10, right down the road, baby. Ram it, VCU. Phil Martelli Jr. is going to be the next guy here. He's following Ryan Odom. We saw Mike Rhodes win. We've seen Will Wade win. We've seen Shaka Smart win. Anthony Grant win. Jeff Capel win. Martelli will be the next guy to win here. They got this job rolling. They'll be good once again at the Siegel Center, and Martelli Jr. will be probably get a Power 4, Power 5 job in the next 2 to 3 years, because that's what VCU coaches do.
I don't know if I'm that high on Martelli. Like, he did an incredible job at Bryant in his 2 seasons, but he's still relatively fresh in the coaching game. But yeah, 2 basically top 50 or top 150 defenses, and it's going to be a little bit of a culture shock in year 1 for VCU. It's going to be more of a defensive first roster, whereas I think the last 2 coaches have been just lighted up from 3. Maybe Rhodes was defense too,
but Odom was different.
Odom, yeah, the last couple of years, I guess. But going back to a little bit of Rhodes and Shaka and Wade with the defense for sure. It's a lot of size and length on this roster, and there's also 5 or 6 upperclassmen that have shots at big time minutes with this group, and they spent some money on the portal. He brings in a couple of Bryant guys first. Barry Evans, a 6'8" senior, played 33 minutes a game for the Bulldogs last year, averaged 13.5 points, 7 boards, 2.5 assists, shot 37.5% from 3 on 3.5 attempts a game, 47.5% from the floor. And then Keyshawn Mitchell, a 6'11" junior who played 20.5 minutes a game for Bryant last season. But there are some big-time gets in this portal group, and it starts with Ahmad Newell, who will come in and probably run the point. He comes in from UConn, and his freshman year, he only played 6.5 minutes, but he was a big recruit, and he's going to have plenty of runway to kind of run the show here with VCU as their only really main point guard, in my opinion. Tyrell Ward comes in from LSU. Last year he sat out, but in 2023-24 he played 21.5 minutes a game. He's a 6'6" senior guard. Jadrian Tracy comes in from Oregon, played 21.5 minutes a game last year. He provides a little bit of shooting on the wing. Jordan Dumont from Villanova. He's a redshirt sophomore, 6'8" forward who can shoot. You have a Charleston transfer and Lazar Djokovic, who was a big-time player for the Cougars last season. He's a 6'11" junior forward, played 24 minutes, averaged 8 and 6.5, shot 52.5% from the floor. They bring back 3 guys, and Christian Fermin, a 6'10" senior, who projects to play a lot for this season, or this team this season. He shot 54.5% in limited time, played 19.5 minutes a game, but he's a pretty good defender, over a block per game. Will do all right defending the rim for sure for VCU. They have Nick Lewis coming in, who's a top 60 freshman recruit. They have Brandon Jennings, who played 13 minutes a game, and Michael Bailey, who played 12.5 minutes a game for VCU last season. Definitely see the vision with VCU and Martelli. I think that this is going to be a pretty scrappy bunch. They're old too, which is always a positive. Troy, how do you feel about VCU?
The Nick Lewis kid, and again, Clark, local Virginia guy, DC guy like me, the Nick Lewis kid is a pretty solid option at backup point guard. I think he was committed to Xavier, and when they changed coaches, he decided to go to VCU. the most impressive part about him is his best games in high school were all the most important games, whether they were like Christmas time invitationals or the state and local championship games and stuff like that. You got to love this roster. Like I just mentioned about St. Louis, all 15 guys on this roster have their Instagram listed by the school on the roster. That's big time. Now, I don't know if this is TMZ enough for Mac to call it TMZ, but the way that they play basketball definitely prevents them from falling into that full TMZ range. This should be a really good team that wins the league.
Yeah, I'll co-sign.
I don't know how else to put it other than another NCAA berth for VCU. Anything less than that would be pretty disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe Odom's first year, they didn't make the NCAA tournament. They I think won 21 or 22 games, and they got better throughout the year. But then last year they were electric. Maybe it could be a little bit of that with Martelli kind of going back to the roots of really being a defensive first program. I mean, that's what VCU was before Odom with Rhodes, Shaka, Will Wade. Like that Havoc was their identity. They still have those signs out here. But the high major transfers, the guys coming over from Bryant, we saw how good Bryant was last year too. Yeah, they're going to be right there to win the league once again here. I'm going to back VCU.
And the director of recruiting is the Burgess kid that was
on the Final Four team.
On the Final Four team, yeah. So it kind of makes sense. It's just funny reading through an A10 roster and seeing all the transfers, and you get to read, Oregon, UConn, Tennessee, Xavier, LSU. Like, that's awesome. This is awesome for college basketball. At least for these leagues, it's great.
And then Bryant.
Yeah, Bryant, baby.
And his Bryant guys. So, all right, let's lead it off. 14
got St. Joe's.
I had St. Joe's at 14 too. I'm
just a terrible situation.
I'm fading Donahue. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm fading that shit.
I don't have him that low. I've got Davidson at 14.
I've got Davidson at 13.
I went Rhode Island at 13.
See, I have Rhode Island at 13.
I have Rhode Island at 12.
I got Davidson at 12.
And then 12 is where I have St. Joe's. I've got them 2 slots higher than you guys.
So unanimous in terms of Davidson, Rhode Island, St. Joe's is our bottom 3 teams here.
LaSalle 11th. It lacks a little bit of offensive talent. There's plenty of experience. I think it'll be a good defense, but I think they lost a lot when they weren't able to get Marcus Randolph some eligibility this season. And I don't think that the NCAA is going to turn around and grant him eligibility as quick as they got Tyon Grant Foster's done. So
sue them. They'll lose. Who do you got, Troy, at 11?
I've got Fordham at 11. I kind of swapped. I mean, not to ruin. LaSalle is right above them for me, but I kind of swapped them after buying into the Mac D Nice hype. I gave them a spot.
Very fair, Troy. I have Fordham just one spot ahead of
perfect.
LaSalle.
I went Fordham 11 and LaSalle 10. Yeah, I think the 2 first-year head coaches that in Darris and Magpayo, their roster may not be explosive and sexy, but they're old, and I think we both think that all 3 of us think they're going to be chippy. So 10 and 11 in different orders with LaSalle and Fordham for us. All right, let's get into the top 9 here. What you got, Bienick?
9th, I've got Richmond. There's some really good continuity, and it's got a lot of experience as well. When Mooney's got that, he tends to have some really good teams. I think there's more talented teams in the A10 this year. So this was where I slotted in the Spiders.
Troy, I think you're on mute.
Yes, I was on mute. 9 for me is St. Bonaventure. I kind of have them a little bit lower, and I think the under 500 in league play we might see the return of the 8 and 10 again.
I went Duquesne at number 9. I just think that there's some more proven coaches than Joyce, so I want to see it from Joyce one time before I put him into the top half after further investigation.
I have Duquesne at 8. I think it's one of your more talented teams. It's just I think it's one of the least experienced coaches you've got in the A10. So it's a good spot right in the middle, 8.
Yeah, Duquesne is my number 8 team right here too.
I went to Bonnie's at 8, back in the 8 spot, 500. Mark Schmidt.
Yeah, I got the Bonnies at 500 too, 7th. They made an effort to bring in a little bit more shooting, so we'll see how that goes for Schmidt. Troy?
My 7th team is where I have Richmond. Again, kind of 2 slots higher than you guys. I think the continuity of Richmond puts them above Duquesne and St. Bonaventure. Just for me in the beginning of the year, maybe steal some early league games or something like that.
At 7, I went George Mason. There is quite a bit of roster turnover. I like Tony Skinn. I think that, like I said, around that 20-win mark here in year 3, but last year the stars were aligned for that group. So I think they do take a step back, but still a top half finish for the Patriots.
6, I've got George Mason. And Tony Skinn, always really good defensive foundation we figured out in these first 2 seasons. They're old. They have some strong continuity in that group. So, yeah, he's doubted or he's overperformed my prediction these first 2 years. I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes a little bit higher, to be honest.
Yeah, that seems to be what he does. But I also have Mr. Skinn at number 6. I think you're going to have to see this roster kind of come together. There's another team in this league that's got the stars aligned for them this year. It was fun last year for George Mason, and, nothing against Tony Skinn. I just don't see that firepower that they had last season. Do either of you guys remember the Chappelle Show episode where the white guy walks up to the black dude and asks him to give him some skin, and it pauses for a second? It's like he could just not pay attention, or he could keep it real. It was a little skit called When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong. Don't ask Tony Skinn to give him some skin.
I got you. At number 6, I got my Spiders, man. Mooney to back in the top half, man. That's what he does. He's got a lot of continuity coming back.
5, I have VCU. I still want to wait and see from Phil Martelli in a league that's much, much better than the America East. You're not going to get a couple of cupcakes in the A10. They're going to have a good defense. They're big. They're old, but I like a couple of teams better than the Rams.
Clip that.
What did I say?
The whole thing. Just clip it all. I've got George Washington at 5. I think they're kind of pushing towards that top part. I didn't quite feel like putting them in the top 4. It might just be once we get to one of the teams higher up there. We've all got a little soft spot right now, but I've got GW at 5.
I do have that soft spot team at 5th, Loyola.
Clip this.
They lost a lot from that team last year, and I know Sister Jean will get them into the top 5. If they didn't have that tragic magic, I would have had them at 6 or 7. But I gave it.
Watch out, Mac. Watch out. Sister Jean's going to get them into the tournament. You know that they're going to be in the tournament, the NCAA tournament. All the casuals would be like, "Oh, that one was for Sister Jean or whatever."
Do you think they should roll out like an empty wheelchair on the end of the bench for every home game?
I mean, goddamn!
I would do that right away. That would have been the first thing I was thinking. I was like, "Yo, empty wheelchair, we'll get the whole crowd fired up."
She was 106. It was time. I mean,
she had only retired like 2 months before.
Okay,
they had just given her her a leave of absence.
Honest, I probably should move them down because they killed her by making her retire. There's no coincidence. All of a sudden, she retires and then she's done.
That was my first question.
The retire meant she was dying, like it was already happening.
The cover up. These Catholic schools are all corrupt.
Yeah, they made her retire, but typically the Catholic schools, they would have like sent her to a different location as a way to just like, we'll pretend that never happened. And the different location she got sent to is going to be where she can lean down and give a little kiss of death to every other team playing Loyola.
At 4, I have Loyola Chicago. I'm all in on Drew Valentine. He's probably going to be the next head coach in East Lansing when Izzo hangs it up, and It's a really good point guard center duo. One of the best you're going to find, if not the best in the A10. So top 4.
I've got St. Louis at 4. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of overperform that, but the biggest issue for me is their play style and how the top teams in the league really can shut down offenses. You got to kind of be able to grind to win some of these league games. And that makes me think that they'll finish a little bit lower in the regular season standings.
I went GW, Caputo and company and their experience. I like them top 4. Let's go.
Yeah, I have George Washington 3rd. I think it's a high floor. They returned 4 guys that played 20-plus minutes from a team that had a top 3 defense last year. You got to love it.
I've got Loyola Chicago at 3. I've got the Sister Jean top 3 Magic. I didn't quite have it in me to put them at 1 or 2, but we'll see. We'll see how that tournament pick goes.
Billikens at 3 for me. Schertz and company, year after the year, but he was very high on them last year. I think they're going to be rock solid this year with Vila back healthy.
Yeah, I have St. Louis at 2. Last year they finished tied for 5th with a handful of injuries, and they really just didn't get off the ground. And this year, I think you've got hopefully a healthy team around Avila, and hopefully he stays healthy as well. And I think that offense is going to hum. So I got them at 2.
I've got Dayton at 2. They'll look good in the non-con. They've got awesome home court advantage. Love Anthony Grant. Get to see a throwback possibly. Anytime VCU plays Dayton, it's always so fun to see all the old VCU guys that they put up on the list, and you're like, damn, this program's been good for basically our whole lives.
Yeah, it has. I did go VCU too. I think it takes Martelli 1 year to win the regular season. I think their former coach might win it. So yeah, Martelli and company. Odom, like I said, did not win the regular season his first year. Give me these Rams to finish second here, and I got Dayton, the Flyers, winning the regular season. Take that, you Flyer fans that are spoiled. Anthony Grant gets it done.
I agree. I've got Dayton number 1. I think Grant's the real deal, and I think the roster is good enough for him to be able to get the most out of it. The offense may struggle early on, but I think it really clicks for these guys in the conference play. So, Troy, how about you?
Looks like I will be the one going out on a limb here and taking VCU number 1 in the Atlantic 10. Yeah, I don't. There's too much money in this program. They're going to win.
My conference tournament winner is the Ramblers of Loyola Chicago.
There it is.
March Magic.
Too sexy.
What do you mean? You're the one that always tries to connect the storyline in there.
Pick LaSalle, Mac. Do it.
Like,
Pick LaSalle.
You are.
This is when everybody's going to want that. That's too popular.
I'm going to go with George Washington.
Good pick.
I'm going to go with Caputo near the end of the year, coming around.
Has Robbie Avila played the NCAA tournament? No.
No, Indiana State got there.
Yeah.
They were that large team, right?
Drake beat them. They were in the NIT final.
Yeah.
Give me the Billikens to get it done. Avila. Robbie Avila, white chocolate.
There's nothing chocolate about Robbie Avila.
Yeah, you're right. They were
white rice, maybe.
They were a 32-win team, and they did not get in.
Yep.
No, it was ridiculous. What's the poll?
The media poll. VCU 1 with 11 first-place votes. St. Louis 2 with 11 first-place votes. Just 1 point separated those two there. Dayton was 3. George Washington 4. Loyola Chicago 5. George Mason 6. St. Joe's 7. St. Bonaventure 8. Duquesne 9. Richmond 10. Davidson 11. Rhode Island 12. LaSalle 13. And Fordham 14. St. Joe's. So this poll came out September 30th. I think that was I think that was after. So yeah, there's not even an excuse for that.
Yeah, that's lazy. So they're all our bus. My sleeper Richmond.
This is the media members going through their progress process bullshit. they see St. Joe's. It's the name that they've seen before in the NCAA tournament. Yeah, we're all going with them as our best, right?
Yeah, they're lucky because it would have been, or I should say VCU's lucky because it would have been VCU for me. But yeah, St. Joe's is like way too high in that immediate poll. Sleeper for me.
You could probably take Loyola Chicago as your sleeper.
No, they're 5 and I have them 4th.
Richmond?
No, can't do that one either. I think my biggest difference is Fordham. They're picked 14th and I've got them 10th. I don't see a super high ceiling for that group though. I don't love that. But that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
They have LaSalle at 13th too.
Yeah, you can put that one down.
So I think LaSalle would be my sleeper with them up at what? 10? Same thing, 13 to 10 or something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Good shit, guys.
What were yours again? I couldn't.
Richmond, because I had Richmond 6. I had Richmond 6, and they were 10th in the preseason, right?
All right. Yep.
Mooney in a bounce back year. I've seen this. I lived.
I picked them 7th too. Maybe I'll do the MAC and have 2 sleepers.
Just give me.
Yeah, he had 3 last year.
I just picked my 3 favorite coaches in the league.
Yeah.
No bias. Mooney's up there. I love Mooney. Mooney's a good dude. Know a couple of his staff guys here. So yeah, let's go Spiders. Yeah, I gotta get in with the Spider Girls, Troy. So let's go. I'll be over there at the what do they call that arena again? Why am I drawing a blank? Because obviously it's the Robin Center. Robin Center. Yeah, Robin Center. It's a beautiful arena. It's
in your own city.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer going to VCU games. The Richmond is wine and cheese. VCU is more rowdy in the trenches, but there's some good scenery over at the Spiders. So yeah, let's go. Robin Center, Siegel Center. Can't wait for A10 hoops this year. Go check out the other college basketball experience. What number are we on? 27 now? Or yeah, 27 down, 4 to go. We got the AAC coming up next. And then tomorrow night, got my fucking paper somewhere.
Valley and Conference USA.
Thank you. And then Thursday night, Ivy and
preseason bets.
Let's go, baby. Go check out Troy Shooting. Hopefully you feel better, brother. And go check out Noah Bienick at NoahB77_. I'm at Moneyline_Matt.
Troy. Sorry.
We are the college
I said thanks for gutting it out. Thanks for jumping on.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. Just pound a few Theraflus and I'll be asleep here in 2 hours, but we'll be okay. I was going to say a PSA, I guess, if you're any of the wine and cheese ladies with the Richmond crowd that's looking to be Max Jordan, we'll post online when he will be attending the games and you can just slide right up in there and say what's up to Moneyline Macintosh.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. Yeah, maybe see you at the Halloween parties this weekend, ladies. So yeah, this is the college basketball experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we are out of here. Ooh, speaking of which, Belichick plays Friday night on Halloween.
Dang. So if you're going as Kelsey and I'm going to go as Urban Meyer, we're going to need some ladies to fill a few roles.
Yeah, I fucking lost that bet. That's good stuff. Good answer.
You won't believe who asked for access to the cocktail machine.